Yellowstone Supervolcano is about to blow, but will it cause a climate catastrophe? The mere mention of the Yellowstone Supervolcano erupting is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. But what if the consequences of such an eruption extended beyond our planet? What if the dust and ash from this massive explosion blocked sunlight and triggered a global ice age? The idea may sound far-fetched, but scientists are taking it seriously. Keep watching to find out why. Yellowstone National Park is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Its geysers, hot springs, and wildlife make it a popular tourist destination. But lurking beneath the park's scenic landscape is a supervolcano that has erupted several times over the past 2 million years. The most recent eruption occurred 640,000 years ago and created the largest volcanic caldera in North America. But the magma chamber beneath Yellowstone is still very much active. In fact, between 1859 and 1863, the region around Yellowstone experienced more than 1,000 earthquakes. And in 1985, a swarm of earthquakes struck the area with magnitudes ranging from 3.0 to 4.9. This seismic activity raised concerns about the potential for a major eruption. So how do we know that Yellowstone is a ticking time bomb? Well, it all comes down to the sheer size of its magma chamber. The magma chamber is a massive reservoir of molten rock located beneath the Earth's surface. And the one at Yellowstone is enormous, stretching for miles beneath the park. You can actually see the magma chamber on satellite images due to its heat signature. While other volcanoes typically have just one magma chamber, Yellowstone has 3. The magma chambers are interconnected and extend from eastern Idaho into western Montana. They form the Yellowstone caldera, also known as the Yellowstone Supervolcano. When the magma chambers erupt, they create what is known as a caldera collapse. The magma chambers collapse inward on themselves, forming a large basin-like depression. One of the most famous examples of caldera collapse is the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in Italy, which buried the Roman city of Pompeii. However, the collapse associated with Yellowstone is much more extensive. The Yellowstone caldera covers an area of nearly 45 by 28 miles. That's roughly the same size as the entire Los Angeles basin. The sheer scale of the caldera gives us some indication of the explosive power of Yellowstone's eruptions. Each eruption is so massive that it leaves a lasting impact on the surrounding landscape. And the older eruptions have left behind some truly impressive features. For example, the Lava Creek eruption 640,000 years ago created a series of lava flows that stretch for over 100 miles. These lava flows are among the youngest in the continental United States and provide a fascinating glimpse into Yellowstone's history. But the true extent of Yellowstone's reach goes far beyond its immediate surroundings. In fact, the effects of its eruptions can be felt all over the world. The massive amount of ash and gases released during an eruption can have a profound impact on the global climate. So what would happen if Yellowstone were to erupt today? The first thing that would happen is that a significant portion of the surrounding landscape would be completely obliterated. The force of the eruption would be so powerful that it would level everything in its path, including trees, buildings, and even large boulders. The shockwave from the explosion would travel around the world multiple times, causing damage far beyond the immediate vicinity of the eruption. But perhaps the most far-reaching consequence of a Yellowstone eruption would be its impact on the global climate. Here's where things get really interesting. You see, the Earth's climate is a delicate balance of various factors, including the amount of water vapor, carbon dioxide, and other gases in the atmosphere. When Yellowstone erupts, it releases massive amounts of sulfur dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. These gases can stay in the air for months or even years, blocking sunlight and cooling the Earth's surface. In fact, scientists believe that a large Yellowstone eruption could cause a global cooling effect known as volcanic winter. Volcanic winter occurs when the amount of sulfur dioxide and other aerosols in the atmosphere causes global temperatures to drop by several degrees. But how bad would this volcanic winter be? To answer that question, we only need to look back in history for some clues. In 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia erupted and released an estimated 160 billion cubic feet of ash and pumice. This massive eruption caused temperatures around the world to drop by an average of 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit, leading to widespread crop failures and famine. The following year, 1816, became known as the year without a summer. People in New England experienced freezing temperatures and snowstorms in the middle of July, while those in Europe endured the coldest summer on record. A similar eruption at Yellowstone could have a devastating impact on our planet's delicate climate system. A study published in the journal Quaternary Science Reviews in 2018 explored the potential consequences of a large Yellowstone eruption occurring today. The researchers used a climate model to simulate the effects of an eruption that released 2,400 cubic kilometers of ash and gases. Their findings were alarming. The model predicted that temperatures in the northern hemisphere would drop by up to 7 degrees Celsius within 2 years of the eruption. These drops would persist for up to a decade before returning to normal. Such a dramatic cooling effect could have catastrophic consequences for human civilization. One of the most immediate impacts would be on food production. Crops would fail and livestock would perish, leading to widespread famine and starvation. The disruption of agricultural systems could also lead to the collapse of global trade and economies. As resources become scarce, conflicts between nations could arise as countries struggle to obtain the food and resources necessary for survival. But the effects of a Yellowstone eruption would go beyond just food shortages. The sudden climate change would also have a profound impact on human health. People living in higher latitudes would be particularly vulnerable, as the cooling effect is likely to be more pronounced in these areas. The drop in temperature would also lead to an increase in cold-related illnesses and deaths. It's important to note that not all experts agree on the severity of the consequences. Some argue that the impact of a Yellowstone eruption would be much less severe than predicted by the climate models. They point to previous eruptions at Yellowstone as evidence that the predicted cooling effect may be overestimated. However, others argue that the previous eruptions were smaller in scale, and that the predicted cooling effect is likely a conservative estimate. Only time will tell what would actually happen if Yellowstone were to erupt. What do we do about it? So what can we do to mitigate the risks posed by Yellowstone? Well, for starters, we can continue to monitor the volcano closely. By tracking seismic activity, changes in the shape of the caldera, and other indicators, scientists can gain insight into the behavior of the magma chamber and predict the likelihood of an eruption. Advanced warning systems can then be put in place to alert people living in the surrounding areas. One of the most promising technologies for monitoring Yellowstone is a network of continuously recording seismographs. By recording even the smallest tremors, scientists can detect any changes in the magma chamber and assess the risk of an imminent eruption. In addition to monitoring, research into the history of Yellowstone's eruptions can help us better understand its behavior. By studying past eruptions, we can learn about the size, frequency, and intensity of future eruptions, which can help us develop more effective mitigation strategies. Another important step is public education. People living in the areas surrounding Yellowstone need to be aware of the risks posed by the volcano and know what to do in the event of an eruption. Educational campaigns can help raise awareness and ensure that people are prepared for a potential evacuation. Of course, there is currently no way to prevent a Yellowstone eruption. Even if we could somehow stop the magma from building up beneath the surface, the gases and steam that are already there would likely cause an eruption. The best we can do is monitor the volcano closely and develop plans to mitigate the damage caused by an eruption. The good news is that we have some time to prepare. Scientists estimate that the next eruption is unlikely to occur for at least another 10,000 years. But considering the potential consequences of a Yellowstone eruption, it's important that we use this time wisely. The fate of our planet could depend on it. Yellowstone National Park is a place of natural beauty and wonder, but it's also a reminder of the awesome power of nature. The thought of a supervolcano erupting beneath our feet is enough to give anyone goosebumps. But by understanding the risks and taking steps to mitigate them, we can all play a role in ensuring that we are prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws our way. What do you think? Is it time for humanity to start worrying about the Yellowstone supervolcano, or are the chances of it erupting anytime soon too small to be worried about? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And that's all for this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more updates on amazing discoveries and mind-blowing insights from the world of science. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.